September 26, 1983. The world stood unknowingly on the brink of nuclear annihilation. A computer screen flashed a warning. Missiles were incoming. Retaliation seemed inevitable. But in that moment, one man defied the odds and chose to trust his instincts over the machines. This man, a name you've likely never heard, saved the world from destruction with a decision that could have cost him everything. Yet, his story remains untold. Stay tuned to uncover the chilling truth behind Stanislav Petrov's life-saving decision and the forgotten heroism that changed the course of history. The Cold War tensions begin with a historical context of the Cold War, when tensions between the US and the Soviet Union were at an all-time high. Highlight the fear of nuclear war looming over every decision, with both nations possessing weapons powerful enough to destroy the world multiple times over. It was an era of mistrust, where a single misstep could ignite a global catastrophe. Both nations relied heavily on technology, trusting machines to interpret the intentions of their enemies. But what happens when machines fail? The fateful night introduced Stanislav Petrov, a lieutenant colonel stationed in the Serpukhov 15 bunker, responsible for monitoring Soviet satellites for signs of a US missile attack. The system reported 5 nuclear missiles heading toward the Soviet Union. Protocol dictated that Petrov report the attack immediately, triggering a chain reaction that would result in a full-scale nuclear retaliation. The clock was ticking. Millions of lives hung in the balance. One word from Petrov could unleash a disaster the world would never recover from. Dive deep into Petrov's thought process. Highlight his training and his doubts. Why would the US launch only 5 missiles in an attack? A real strike would involve hundreds. The new satellite system was untested and could be flawed. There were no corroborating radar signals from ground stations. Despite immense pressure, Petrov made a choice. "I trusted my gut," Petrov would later say, "and I just couldn't believe the world was ending that night." He classified the alert as a false alarm, a decision that defied protocol and risked his career, and potentially his life. The truth revealed hours later. It was confirmed that the alert had been caused by a rare alignment of sunlight on high-altitude clouds, mistaken by the satellite in his missile launches. Petrov had been correct. His decision had prevented what could have been the start of World War III. One malfunction, one decision, and millions of lives were spared. The unsung hero explained how Petrov's actions were not celebrated. Instead, he was reprimanded for not following strict protocol. His career stagnated, and he retired quietly from the military. For years, the incident remained classified. Petrov lived a modest life, struggling financially, until his story was revealed in the late 1990s. He received international accolades, but recognition came too late for the man who had already been forgotten by his own country. Stanislav Petrov's story forces us to question the systems we trust to safeguard humanity. How many decisions are made by machines with no human intervention in the name of security? And what if Petrov hadn't been there that night? We owe our existence to a man who followed his instincts over a machine's judgment. Yet his story remains hidden, his name unspoken. As we rush into a future dominated by technology, perhaps Petrov's legacy reminds us of one critical truth. In moments of crisis, humanity, not machines, may be our greatest savior.